Let's start with LSU, Alabama. And look, Alabama handles LSU in T-Town, and I think a few themes are obvious here, Aaron. The first of which is this is a big win for the old sports cliche. You're only as strong as your weakest link, right? A lot of times we get tired of cliches because we hear them so much that they sort of lose their meaning. But, generally the only way you end up becoming a cliche is if you're rooted in some sort of just core truth. And we said it all week long, this is going to be a test of that theory. And well, LSU's weakest link looms largest here. And as far as look, I mean, as far as this LSU team goes, you've seen them twice now play against playoff caliber teams, and both games played out pretty much the exact same way with Florida State and Alabama, where the offense, because it's so good, fought hard, kept you in it early, but ultimately that defense is just entirely too flawed to help you win big games.
Well, that's where I'm not torn on the fact that LSU's defense is bad, but I'm also torn on the fact of how much Alabama's offense has truly improved this season. And I think that has to go into this a little bit too of they took advantage of a defense that had a bunch of freshmen playing the secondary. Wingo was not playing, which was a huge miss for the Alabama front, to be able to get after to Milroe. But I do want to give credit
I don't even know. I don't know though, dude. I don't think it makes a difference. He's been hurt. He's been hurt all year. The pass rush, LSU doesn't have a pass rush. They haven't had a pass rush all season long. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe.
Okay. But I want to go to the positivity of Alabama, to me, still over the past few weeks has grown as an offense. They've found their identity. And for Jalen Milroe to finally just say, you know what, I may be the most athletic dude on the football field. And he hasn't really shown off his legs this year. He has been adamant, I want to be a pocket quarterback. I want to be a guy that sits in here and throws the ball down the field. And at times he sits in there a little bit too long and gets sacks and negative plays. But guess what? He'll then create an explosive play through the air that will make up for all those missed opportunities to possibly run the football. Where last night was more of an urgency to just take off and go. And you saw the explosiveness. You saw that first burst, that second burst, the put the foot in the ground, get north, and just run right by defenders. That's dangerous. So I do want to give credit to Alabama offensively. They are coming into their own a little bit here right now. Jalen's taking care of the football. He's not really making a lot of mistakes. He got away with a couple throws last night, but he's going to be a risk taker. And that's just going to come with the territory of who he is as a quarterback. But when he can go run for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns and force a defense to be able, be more disciplined in their rush lanes, he's going to be a tough cookie to slow down the rest of the season. So I do want to give props to them. Well, LSU's defense, man, is just oof.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. I started this talking about LSU because obviously it's when the post came on last night. And that's kind of where my head goes. But the story here, you're correct, is Alabama. This is a flawed Alabama team that has just gotten better and better all season long. And now they look like they're rounding into form to win the West and go challenge Georgia in the East. So you're right. And Jalen Milroe is the second highest rated passer in the SEC coming into this. So he's been efficient. He's been explosive. And then this was the ultimate realization of his legs. 11 of 14 on third down, and just live, it felt like every single time it was 3rd and 10, Jalen was just all right, fuck it, I'm going to run.
I'm just going to go.
And it was just unstoppable. LSU had no answer for it.
These 3rd and long situations, they're so scared to get beat over the top with their DB. So you got linebacker dropping in depth and safeties dropping in depth. And, if you give him any sliver of space to just take off and run, he's going to do it, which is why I kind of to me, leaning into the game, I said it last week on our show, was I would rather put pressure on him and force him just to get the ball out now and not let him sit back there.
But LSU can't get pressure.
That's why you need to bring 6. You need to bring 5 or 6. You need to bring one more than they can protect. So I just think they gave him too much time to get through his reads and then decide, okay, nothing's there. Let me just go run and get the first down. It was very cautious.
Yeah, it was. I know there were some numbers out there about him being horrible against quarters, and so maybe they thought they could emulate that. But the thing is, Jalen Milroe being horrible against quarters probably is more okay, if Texas was running quarters, their front 4 was getting home. Yeah. Right. And so you have the coverage and you have the rush. I
I think the big thing too, T-Bob,
I don't
is
come out of it with
listen,
go ahead.
listen, LSU made the big mistake on offense. Like, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, this had an opportunity to be not to the extreme of the Washington USC game, but both teams were tracking to get in the 40s.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, LSU had the big drop. Was it Mason Taylor had a big
Mason
drop?
Taylor drop.
They had a couple full start penalties and a holding penalty. Like,
which Bryant Denny shined. Bryant Denny, if you're an Alabama fan and you're in that number, you should.
But they shot themselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot offensively. They could have kept going and made this a 4-quarter game. And
yeah, but that's also like, but to me, that's also so indicative of the impossible situation that this LSU offense is in, because this is a championship offense. This is not a championship team, and football is the ultimate team game. And a drop on 2nd and 17 that would have set up 3rd and 5 should not feel like the difference, right? Like that should not matter, honestly. But
it does for LSU.
Yes, the defense is
with
so
the
bad
way your team's playing, the way the game was going, there was a feeling that we're going to have to probably score on every single drive going forward.
And then you had a great defensive play by Alabama to come up with the pick, ball batted up in the air. And, so look, again, the story here is an Alabama team that is clearly look, Brian Kelly said this week that, we're a year and a half into building this thing at LSU. Alabama, Georgia have been doing this for a while. This is just clearly a better Alabama program. Top to bottom, the talent was just, more fleshed out and better than what LSU brought to bear. Bryant Denny was fantastic, forced a lot of false starts, forced a lot of weird snap problems. So credit to the Tide, man. Big time job getting it done. And now looking a little frisky, heading into Atlanta here in a few more weeks to take on Georgia. So good job, Alabama. LSU falls, and